take advantage of
opportunity.
Right now
is the time to pick up the sport of entrepreneurship.
This is the time to
challenge yourself.
Come back stronger than ever before.
The true epidemic is fear.
Adapt, adjust,
Be prepared.
Overcome
this economic downturn.
What are some tips or things you've been thinking about money-wise to those people that do have money that maybe want to capitalize, but they're not sure how? What are you doing with your money right now?
Yeah. So I think there's a few different things that I'm doing right now, which is one, I'm reanalyzing my financial wellness, both in my business and personally, right? So like now's a great time for you to look at, where am I wasting money? Where am I spending money that's not serving me? That's not providing me an ROI. Now is a time to be conservative in looking at where is there waste, right? Like where can I cut out? Like for instance, like you shouldn't necessarily be going and joining a ton of new programs right now and a ton of new courses. Like if anything, you should be doubling down on the Game Changers Academy, or doubling down on my clients. I'm like doubling down on going even deeper with my mastermind with Leaders Create Leaders, right? It's like really be conservative. Don't just start spending and look at like your P&L and look at where can you really conserve. Even with your team, I know it's hard to sometimes have to let go and make changes, right? And fire people. Like I have clients and friends that are freaking letting go and having to do what they got to do for the business. And that's tough, right? And it's like, there's some tough decisions that you have to make, but you have to, again, you have to make the right decisions as to, look at your cash flow and make sure that you're making sure that things are bringing an ROI, and you're not wasting any cash. Where am I putting my money? I mean, the number one thing where I'm putting my money is in myself. So like, I'm just doubling down on my business. So now's a perfect time for anything. The best investment you can make is in you. So just reinvest into your business, right? Like how can you just really just double down on your business and think about like how you can evolve that, whether it's better product or, if there's something that a skill that maybe you can learn right now that you can bring into your business, but something that's actually going to bring you an ROI within your business. I'm investing into the stock market. I've been a big believer. I have an economic newsletter known as inflation.us. I've had it for over 12 years. So I constantly cover the economy, 6 documentaries. And on that newsletter, I talk about, so like right now I'm buying some mining companies because oil is so low right now that the cost to mine is super low. So like, I genuinely believe that in an economy like this, where there's going to be, that the economy is being inflated by, by the dollar. I always believed in like gold and silver. Palladium has been looking really, really strong. So I play in commodities. I play in agriculture. So I've been playing in a lot of miners and ETFs that hold a lot of gold or miners. I play a lot of call options and put options. And then real estate, real estate is something that I've always held long-term. I always think that you should have some cash put and have a percentage of your portfolio in real estate and look for income. Look for that real estate to generate income. Look for income generating assets, rental properties. I know you've been doing that a lot, Peter. So that's for me. I'm always looking for those kind of opportunities.
For you, what would you tell entrepreneurs that do want to capitalize in terms of if they have cash? Are you holding it? Are you selling properties? Are you doubling down on real estate, stocks, liquid, invest all of it back in your business, holding it? What's kind of your focus cash-wise right now?
Good question. So right now, here's what I'm doing. Because I do have properties, like rental properties that I rent out, commercial buildings that I rent out. They've dropped in price. So I'm not going to sell it unless I need that money, right? Because if I sell it, I'm going to lose money on it because the value has dropped. So as long as my tenants are in there paying me rent, I'm going to shut my mouth and take the rent checks. That's number one. Number two, the government is saying, hey, I've got money to loan you. And I'm doing this myself. And I told all my coaching clients, I'm like, no matter how good you're doing, just take the money from the government. Whatever SBA loan they're going to give us at 2.7% or whatever low percentage rate it is, and they're going to defer the first 6 months of payments until the future. Guess what? I want that. And they go, but if you don't need it, why take it? You don't know how long this ride is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to buy my competing franchise brand and I need that money. So just because I don't need the money now doesn't mean I'm not going to need the money later. So my mindset is this: I'm going to use other people's money first, which is the government. Any money that they're going to give me, even if I don't need it, I'm going to take it. And then when this thing is all over, if I don't use a penny of it, here you go. Take it back. I don't need the loan. Take it back. Otherwise, I'm going to use government money, other people first, to buy assets and to grow my empire. And then if I need to go and sell my homes and my rental properties to then reinvest in my company, I will. And I'm willing to do that for a loss because I'll make the money on the back end and the growth of my business, right? But always use other people's money first. And where people are like, yeah, but why would you borrow money from the government when other people can use it if you don't need it? Because I'm going to have to pay for that money anyway. If people think that government money is just free money, like watch how toilet paper, Snickers bars, gasoline, a gallon of milk, a crate of eggs, everything is inflation. Everything's going to go up in price. And you and me as entrepreneurs, my taxes will go up in the next 3 to 5 years. How do you think that government's going to get that money back? You think they just pooped out money? So if I'm paying for it in the future, I'm going to take it now and use it anyway.
Do we know some of the same people? Because I get the same question. It's so interesting, but
right.
Yeah, OPO is something that people need to understand. And now is a better time than ever to get the money because of the interest rates, which is amazing, especially for businesses too. Question on the quarantine and on the lockdown. I love this question because there's so many different answers and ideas, but everyone I've talked to, Bedros, in terms of the heavy hitters, the big business owners, the multi-millionaires doing hundreds of millions of dollars of business, they're doubling down right now on their routine, on their focus, on their personal growth, on their employees. But I still see so many people doing all they can to be like, I'm bored. I'm escaping reality. I'm watching Netflix. What is your take on ideas people should be doing right now in the lockdown or in the quarantine if they're serious about coming out on top? What are some ideas?
Now is the time to get even more disciplined. Like any excuse that people had about, I didn't have time to work out. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to watch Peter's course. Guess what? You have the time now. You have the time now. And so anyone who is not using this time to prepare to come out for war when this quarantine is done in 30 days or 40 days if they extended, you are a fool, because I am using that time right now. I'm getting leaner, stronger, faster, smarter, more resilient, bringing better people around. I'm already looking to see who got fired and who I can bring into my company. On the day the quarantine happened, the first quarantine, March, whatever it was the day that we hired Ashley, Ed, the day that the quarantine happened, I hired someone, a new accountant. I'm like, hey, welcome aboard. You start working from home tomorrow, right? Because I saw an opportunity. She's a talented accountant. We're building our accounting team. And so I'm looking for like employees that I'm going to get for pennies on the dollar right now. And so anyone that's not using the quarantine time right now to reinforce their mindset, their money, their motivation, their discipline, they're fools.
So I want to talk about embracing the suck, because I think that's a mentality that you live and breathe. And then you also, I'm assuming your entire team knows about it and they can recite you like word for word, which is great. Where did it come from? And just kind of share the importance of embracing the suck and getting uncomfortable, because here's what I see. Yes, there's a crazy pandemic. There's going to be a lot of struggle the next 6 months, and our society, most of them are not financially free. They're struggling, but people are obsessed with being comfortable. They are obsessed with comfort, watching TV, relaxing, going to sporting events, which is not bad. But most people these days, when they get out of high school or college, they don't get uncomfortable anymore. And they wonder why they're not where they want to be. So that's why I love that mentality, embrace the suck. Talk about where you got that from and the importance of getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, comfort is the path of least resistance. That's why most people go after it, and it's typically easily achievable. But the first time I heard about it was 2009. So my buddy went to basic training 2009. He's sitting in his porta potty trying to get like a breakaway from the drill sergeants. And he's looking at this wall in this porta potty, and on the wall scribbled in like ballpoint pen is embrace the suck. He's like, well, shit, this is like ideal timing for what I'm going through right now. So he comes back and he tells me and my buddies about this, and it just stuck with me. Like it just rang true. Where, I was in ROTC at the point in college, and we had this instructor, and he would put us through like a world of hurt. And he would just he taught me all about what it meant to like literally push your body beyond physical means while your mind is just keep telling you stop, stop, stop. So I learned so much through this course through, my ROTC experience, then military, and then my buddy learning all about embrace the suck and basic training. And I literally applied that to every part of my life for my life up until this point, business related, fitness related, because I know when I go through times where it's challenging, it's hard, it typically means I'm growing. I'm putting myself in a position where I'm forcing myself to grow. I'm going to learn from it and through it. It's like in terms of business, when things are going wrong for the right reasons, it typically means because we're pushing the limits and trying to grow. If I'm sitting here every day and there's no problems, everything's going right, well, I'm not pushing hard enough. Same thing with fitness. Like if it doesn't hurt, if I'm not pushing my body beyond its limits, I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to feel like I'm growing. Like I want it to hurt. I want to embrace that pain because I know it's those moments of uncomfort. They're going to push me forward. It's like forcing yourself forward.
So let's relate embracing the suck to right now. If people can't really get out, they're quarantined. They can't do their normal business operations. What are some things they can do right now to embrace the suck, to get uncomfortable, to make sure they can sharpen their skill set and mindset so when they come out of this period, they're better than ever?
I think right now and you can see from the online engagement and activity, everyone's away from work, everyone's at home. So many people are just using this time to sit around and BS and waste time. They're just absorbing so much content on a daily basis, not much of that being valuable content. But I think this is a great opportunity for people to literally take a big step back, look at big perspective, and humbly identify their strengths and weaknesses. And every weakness they identify, find out how to make that weakness a strength. So like when I was stationed in South Korea for 9 months, and this is where I really transformed my business, is when I got there, I eliminated all distractions. Outside of work, I didn't watch any TV, any movies, play any video games, really socialize. Every moment outside of work in the Army, I spent learning how to grow my brand. Those were the most productive 9 months of my life, where I learned how to code a website. I learned marketing. I learned branding. I learned video and photo production. And I use that time to build my skill set.
What are some ideas on how to sell without coming across like opportunistic, giving this situation, and maybe people that need a pivot from an in-person business, like speaking workshops, into profitable online? Is there any ideas for them? Because a lot of people that had in-person stuff, their only options to go online, which I feel like is better because they can reach more people. But what are some ways to sell where they don't feel like they're just trying to make money from people, but they're actually genuinely caring about their customers?
Yeah, I mean, I think people buy, like, this is going back to the old adage, people buy or do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? And so it's all on your language patterns and your first off, I don't sell because I'm a great salesperson. I'm not technical. I don't have like, these ninja little, like, if they say this, I say this, and then I do this, and they say, and this is where I put my hand, and then I like, it's
You're
not
passionate.
all, it's not, yeah. I sell well because I'm enthusiastic about what I do. I love it so much that it just pours out of me and people feel it. It's not even spoken. It's unspoken transfer of emotion. So I'm extremely enthusiastic about what I do. And I'm very compassionate for people. Like, I meet them where they are by asking them lots of questions. I ask questions and I listen way more than I talk. So I'm not even really selling. They're selling themselves by answering my questions. So I just know what and how questions to ask, when to ask the what and how questions, and how to ask them. My first real estate deal I ever did, I looked like I was 15. I had no money. I didn't know what I was doing. No credibility. I was a hot freaking mess. And the guy did it. He was going through a divorce, a foreclosure, and a bankruptcy. It was a trifecta. Imagine the emotional instability of this person. And when I went up to the house, everybody, I met the guy, and then I was like, I'm going to go talk to some of the neighbors and stuff and just learn about the neighborhood because I didn't know what I was doing. So I went and talked to one of the neighbors, and they're like, oh, and I'm making the guy's name up because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but you're trying to buy John's house. Good luck with that. And I said, why is that? And they said, well, John has had 400 investors over here. People are coming by all the time, and he doesn't do business with anybody. He's a cranky old man. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. So, and I thought that was interesting concept for the neighbor to tell me, John, the neighbor is cranky. But he ended up doing a deal with me because I spent an hour with this person, just building a relationship, talking to them about their wife and the divorce that was happening and the way they were feeling and what they were going through. And I just asked question after question after question. Well, guess what? John invited me inside. John made dinner for me. 4 hours later, me and John are best friends. And John gave me the deal. And that deal changed my life, not because I had skills or said everything perfect, but it was because I connected with John at a deeper level than anybody else did. And John felt that. And I ended up making $40,000 on that deal. And it changed my life because I never looked back. And so online is the same way. The only advice I will give you, because I've sold over $80 million in online training and services online. When you're on video, it's flat, it's two-dimensional. It's not like being at a live event where you can read people and change by the feeling of what's going on in the room. You have to be 5 times more enthusiastic on video than you would be normally. And it feels awkward to smile through your eyes as you talk to the camera. But if you really want to transfer emotion through the camera, it's going to feel weird, but when you watch it back, it'll look normal. Mm-hmm. It's actually like a 5x emotion transfer. So raise your enthusiasm, lean in on it, be enthusiastic, and know your shit.
What's your take right now? Like, what kind of thoughts come in your head in terms of the state of the economy, the state of entrepreneurship, just everything going on?
Well, the first thing I think of is opportunity. So with everything going on, as big of a nightmare as it is, and let's just be real, this is a nightmare. I'm backing out of properties that I was buying because the price is not worth what I offered 3 weeks ago, right? I have buyers canceling deals because they're scared of what's going to happen. I'm still selling houses. I'm still closing escrows. But the opportunity is out there. Like right now, myself, I was out today looking at houses for myself. And I'm trying to pick up deals right now, and I'm writing offers 15% lower than they would have been already anyways, right? So I'm trying to plan ahead. So for example, if I'm looking at buying a house today and I would normally pay $500,000 for that house, in today's economy, my offer is $450,000. So I'm giving myself about a 10% oh shit cushion. And in a worst case scenario, that will minimize my losses. In a best case scenario, I just came up 10%.
Interesting. So people with cash right now, what are you telling them in terms of if they have cash, hold it like cash is king, sell, double down, more real estate, or are you saying 10% down? I mean,
for me, like if you have cash and you're go try to steal some houses, like write some low offers, try to make some deals happen. But is there any rush or urgency to do it? I don't think so, man. Right now, everything's at a standstill. You know, buyers can't get in cars and they can't look at houses. Lenders, hard money lenders are changing their guidelines. They're lowering the loan to value. They're increasing the interest rates to investors. There's a lot of scary things going on that the general public doesn't know about. For example, even myself, I've done dozens of millions in hard money financing. I just got noticed that they want to, someone to charge me more. And I said, you want to charge me more? Well, I'm going to give you less. So every single person is adapting to the current situation. But the one thing we can't do is just stop. The second we stop, we're dead in the water. So we have to think fast. We have to change. We have to adapt. We have to adjust our offers. Like in every single business, there's always a way to make money or at least minimize losses. Like right now, I'm looking at 2 things. How do I minimize losses if this thing gets worse? And 2, how do I make money because it's so bad?
Huge perspective. So what do you tell the people that maybe have been successful, but instead of moving fast like you do, they're moving in fear because they're sitting there watching the news or they're looking at all the stuff happening? What do you tell them if they're moving in fear versus moving quick like you are?
Well, if you're not moving fast because of fear, once that fear catches you, you're going to be moving fast.
You're going to have to.
You better get going, because I'm out there grinding each and every day. You're grinding each and every day. I have a live event company, Homemade Investor by Tariq El Musa, where I teach people about house flipping around the world. Guess what? I can't throw live events anymore. So I just took my entire program online. So now we're doing it through webinars. You just got to think fast, make fast decisions, adapt to the situation. It's not going to get better overnight. And if anyone tells you it's going to get better in 3 or 4 weeks, they're lying. There's no way. The health effects are going to linger on for months and months. The economic effects are going to linger on for months and months. This is not going to go away overnight.
What are some tactics right now, Robert, to the people watching that really are hungry? They're the millennials that maybe are already making money online. They're using their phone wisely. They're not really listening. They're going against the grain. What are some tactics, especially in this quarantine, that people can do to start educating themselves and develop real skills and put themselves ahead of the competition? What are some tactics and ideas?
It's not a tactic. It's this. Look, it's strategic. It's not tactical. I went to military academy, so it's different between a tactic and a strategy. So strategy is kind of like your plan. Tactics, your execution. Okay. So those are big differences. So you got to change your strategy. Is think about this, okay? The thing I hear millennials say, "Oh, I made $1 million." I say, so what? See, the problem is you're still working for money. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's lesson number 1, or the lesson in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is rich don't work for money. You've got to convert that money, whatever you're making, into an asset. Now, once you understand an asset is something from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money from your pocket. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book on accounting, income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow, the most boring subjects on earth. I was going to my MBA program. I dropped out because the MBA teacher had his head up his ass. I couldn't stand him, you know. So you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you say, I want the cash flow. So the reason I'm doing fine is because I have 8,000 apartment units. Now people are saying, well, you know, they're not going to pay their rent. Some aren't. Always remember this. The Fed always bails out the rich. So they're going to bail me out too. Other thing they're going to bail me out for right now, because I have employees, they're going to give me 8 weeks of free income. God bless them. The laws are written for the rich. They're written for entrepreneurs, not employees. If you can understand that, you can shift your thinking. So today, for most millennials, you know, the question is, can you sell? And with this little puppy here, if you can't sell, hang it up. You know, this thing is so great because, you know, I'm now on Twitter. I love Twitter because I'm testing market pitches. So this morning, I already posted. I didn't know this. A lot of people get no response from Twitter. This morning, I posted in 4 hours, I got 4,000 likes. That's how I know whether I'm selling or not. I got my hates also. But if you guys can't market test your pitch, your words, hang it up. So I'll say it again. This crisis is made for you guys, unless you went to school. You know, I'm not saying school is bad. I'm saying you didn't learn anything about money and what's between your ears. If you're still looking for job security, you still think that making a lot of money makes you rich, you're an idiot.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this video and this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, put the notifications on, and I assure you, you'll love this content and these videos.